Okay, this video is to cover the practical element for Unit 39. It's a must, so you need to complete it. We've got approximately 5 weeks till the end of the unit, so the due date is July the 9th. So our introduction then, why are you doing this? Students have to carry out 4 practical tasks, and this is to prove that you have the following skill sets. One is problem solving. Next one is interpret given information and present them in a graphical form, say using tables. Use statistical data effectively. Use the British Standard 4500. And finally, carry out data analysis on specimens using a hardness and tensile testing equipment. So your first task is the tensile test. The college has a tensile testing machine, and for those who have not already done it, you'll be sent a date when you can enter the college and carry out a practical tensile test. You'll be doing this on several samples. Then there is a written element, which is the analysis part. Now the analysis part is quite in depth. You'll be given the data for 3 individual samples. There will be a video that accompanies this, and the task will show you how to set up the spreadsheet that you'll have to create to analyze all the data and explain how to use this data so you can obtain the following information. So you'll need to find the elasticity rating of the material, or its E number, the amount of stress, and you'll be shown where to find that and how to find that, and that will be measured in it'll be measured in Newton meters squared, but then you have to change it into megapascals. We'll then do strain. You'll have your ductility, your elasticity of the material, the stiffness or the resistance, and its strength. And from that, you will have to create a graph, okay, a stress strain graph or a load extension graph, depending on what it asks you for. Okay, as stated, the data will need to be recorded and analysed using that spreadsheet. Now, for some of you, this is going to take some time. I completely understand that not all of you are IT wizards or even bother with spreadsheets. You're good with phones, rubbish with anything else. All right, so I recommend that you watch the video that will accompany it several times in order to create your spreadsheet. All right, the information that you learn from this tensile test needs to be added into your final written report. Your task 2 is your hardness test. Now, some of you have already carried this out. You've watched one of the instructors on a video. You've done the hardness test in college. Some of you haven't. So again, you'll be given a date when you can go into college and do this. All right. Once you've got your results, again, this has got a written element. All right. That's the analysis. You need to use a spreadsheet again, and you need to create a table and put all the information into that table. Task 3 is presenting and interpreting statistical data. Now, in the practical element, in the actual learner pack, there is a table of data already presented. The video will give you an example of how to use that data, but the numbers will be different. What you have to do is you have to display that data, right, in a graphical form. So use a frequency table, maybe use a histogram. The choice is yours, okay, whichever one you're more comfortable doing, but those are the 2 that I would recommend. From the data, you need to work out the mean, and for those who don't know what the mean is or have forgotten, it's the average. You've got the mode, which is the most, all right, the number which appears the most. You've got the median, which is the middle, and then you've got the range. That's basically from top to bottom. Again, there'll be a video, and it will show you how to do this. It will show you how to use a spreadsheet, how you can use calculations within the spreadsheet to obtain that information. Now, the reason why we're doing this in spreadsheets, we're not training you just to sit on a production line as an apprentice, and that is it for the rest of your life. The idea is that we give you some extra skills so that if you are promoted, you can use IT effectively, and it's another skill set that you have, and it makes you more competitive in the job market. You're not always going to be in the same job. However, like I've said, some of you may not like using spreadsheets or IT. It's not mandatory, right? So if you are more comfortable using graph paper, all right, pens, paper, all that sort of stuff, you can use that instead. All right, it's not a mandatory obligation. Task 4, this is limits and fits. So this covers learning outcome 3. You'll be given data. You'll be given data for several sizes of holes and shafts. Now the example we've got here is 55, H9, E9. The 55 being the size of the shaft or the hole. The H9 representing the hole and the E9 representing the size of the shaft. That is called a combination. For each combination, and I think you'll be given 3 or 4 of these, you'll need to find the minimum clearance fit and or the interference fit for each case. You will also have to be able to state the amount of tolerance for each combination. The second part of the task will require you as a student to create a diagram and state the deviation and tolerance on a hole and a shaft. Now, for those who are not too familiar with those terms, what it's actually asking you to do is in a diagram show a clearance fit, what happens, all right, the sizes, tolerances and so on, all right, or how an interference fit works. Now, for those of you who did this part of the unit earlier on in the year, the student notes have been updated and they are also added. The images that I have supplied the second half of your group, they're still in that package, so please feel free to go back and refer to that if you need to. So that's what it means there when it says refer to the updated student notes. The final bit is a written report where you're going to put all of this together. Now it doesn't have to be War and Peace. Please don't make it War and Peace, because some of just keep it simple, stupid. All right, so 500 words. Aim over 500 words as a minimum, but around 500 words. However, it must contain what effect the carbon content had on the material being tested. So that clearly refers back to your tensile test and your hardness test. Which specimen was the stiffest? Which specimen was the most ductile? Which specimen was the strongest? And what percentage of carbon in each specimen have the properties been determined? Now for some of this, all right, you are going to have to carry out your own research regarding the carbon and its effect on properties, and the use from the tensile test and the hardness test. All right, and we covered all of this in Learning Outcome 4. For those who paid attention, there is a video on the YouTube channel showing dendritic, right, or the effects of dendritic carbon contents, all right, and also the cooling curve on there. So please feel free to have a look. As I've said, there will be videos for each of these. So for task 1, there'll be a video for that. For task 2, another one. Task 3, another one, and task 4. Some of you who have already been working with me in the second half, we've already done task 3, finding the mean, the median, the mode, and the range. You just have to follow it. Okay, and we've also done the setting up of the spreadsheet for the tensile testing. Okay, but as I said, there will be a video on that. All right, if you've got any questions, feel free to email me.